a train come. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All right, it's Nichols live time, and I'm here. I'm Larry Nichols. Today, it's a sad day for a couple of reasons. Number one, we lost the lives of some police officers, obviously, in Dallas. And as I understand, 5 killed, 7 wounded. And that's bad. That's horrible. We all should say a prayer for them and their families. But the other reason we have to be sad is because today the evilness that is all over Hillary wins again. You see all of the scandal of the email and how there's no prosecution, how it's all been covered up right on cue. Right on cue. The Dallas shooting occupies the media. And the whole story about Hillary's old news now. You know, I just hate to see this country dying. I hate it. And I know that when I tell y'all, you have no idea what the world will look like with Hillary as president. I know you think and you try, but you just can't see it. Your patriotism, your love for the country, your belief system, just can't let you go there. It just can't. But it will be bad. It will not be the country you know. It won't be. It won't resemble it. The country we know will be gone. Now, another reason I'm sad today is I guess I don't need to try to hide it. I don't feel very good today. And today is the big day, the $1,200 day. And I fear we won't make it. It's a tough one today. Tough one. But I want to tell you, about a life that can be saved. Out there somewhere, there's children. Many of us are kin to them. They can be saved. They don't have to live in a world that's full of darkness and evil. They don't have to live in a world where nothing they see having to do with their country or their news is a lie. Nothing's real. You can look in their eyes, and their eyes, they see the promise of tomorrow. And the hope that it'll be better. Tomorrow will be better, always better than today. Always better. They see the sky, and the sky is always blue. And they still get to hear fairy tales. And they still get to believe that they come true. They still get to breathe air and know it's free. And they get to look forward to every day that this world brings them. And they can't wait to see what's around the corner for the next day. They're out there. They're out there right now. And the only thing keeping them from being able to see that tomorrow is us. Us. You know, I'm told today that Alex Jones spent $30,000. Spent $30,000 to fly a banner at the Republican convention. And now they won't let him fly it because it's delivery for prison. I don't know. That seemed to be a lot of money for nothing anyway. That banner at that convention, that wasn't going to solve anything. Wasn't going to save anything. Wasn't going to buy the children a future. It wasn't. Oh, it might get a little press for Alex. Wasn't going to save anything. We've got $1,200 to try to find for what? A day, a weekend for me. That won't save anything. You know, I sit here and I think, well, it's on. It's what I knew was coming and have known was coming for 20 years. Me against Hillary. Me against Hillary. And then when the day comes, the time comes, here I am so sick I can't even do an hour program on the radio or on the computer internet. And I imagine just like Hillary is high-fiving all her campaign people about the death of those 5 police officers and 7 that were wounded. Well, yeah, I imagine they're high-fiving the way that just took the news right off of them. That saved her bacon. Those 5 lives, it just saved her. Saved her campaign. She will hardly even have to talk about the cover-up and the prosecution of her for the email. She won't even hardly have to talk about it now. That saved her. I'm going to tell you something, Hillary. To her people that are listening to me right now, take a message to Hillary. You're probably laughing. Doing a double celebration today because it don't seem like I'll be there for that challenge between she and I. Let me tell you something, you bitch. Many a person has bet against me and regretted it. Somehow, some way, if I can't do it in this life, I'll do it in the next. Somehow. I will see that those children out there right now, they're going to have that future somehow, some way. Some way. See, I don't ever lose when it comes to others. Oh, I lose for me all the time, but not for others. So beware, Hillary. I will make this campaign a nightmare for you. It will be a nightmare. I will see to it. And you and all the evil you represent. And oh, I know you've got the numbers. I know you think you've got the math. I know you think you've got it all worked out. But you don't. You don't. Because I don't believe the devil is allowed to kill. He's allowed to torture. He's allowed to make things awfully bad. But I do not believe he's allowed to kill. God won't let it. And for you to become president of the United States would kill this nation the rest of the way. And I will lean on my God to prevent that. Now, if you want to call in, today's a good day to do it. I don't have much strength. 501 499 6022. We have today 7,535 people on board already. That's wonderful. And we've already gotten in $10 from Lauren, 10 from Robert, 100 from Michael, 5 from Crystal, 10 from Bruce. Some of this came in earlier today, but it came in 10 from Steve, 50 from Pamela, 20 from Fina, and then 100 from Stan, something. So thank you to all of y'all. I don't know how much that adds up to. I cannot see. Just got this from a listener. Hillary's going to speak at a black church this afternoon. Now, only Hillary would have the audacity to speak at a black church about Black Lives Matter after what happened yesterday. As I understand, the shooting took place at some big Black Lives Matters protest thing. And thank you, Jerry. Just got 100 from Jerry. Thank you, buddy. But think about it. If Donald Trump were to speak at a black church or a white church after what all happened, I mean, the media would be all over him. But here she's going to speak at a church about Black Lives Matter. Now, by the way, y'all don't realize, apparently, I guess none of us realize how close we came. I don't know if y'all noticed yesterday, but when that shooting took place, apparently there were several protests going on around the country. Obama was probably very excited because he was close to having his 5 riots in 5 major cities, which triggers FEMA automatically. The shooting stopped that. And again, I'm amazed. I don't know the full detail of the killing of the black guy in Louisiana and wherever the other one took place. But it's amazing to me, after Black Lives Matters is all based off of fraud. That was all a fraud. It didn't happen the way that it started out and the way it's portrayed. But here was the governor, president, and everybody else just immediately convicting the cops guilty without a trial. While at the same time, in a trial going on somewhere else, the people that were supposed to have killed the 5 or 6 cops that were supposed to have killed that guy, they've all been let off so far that have had their case adjudicated. You say, well, you saw it. You saw it. I mean, it was on television. Folks, you can't believe a damn thing you see on television anymore. What you think you see, what you think is the story. How many times have you got to see? How many times have you got to learn that doesn't necessarily mean that's what it was? Black Lives Matter. I do not dispute that. So do white. So do blue cops. Their lives matter. So do green, our soldiers. Their lives matter. And another thing I think passed on that shooting yesterday that most people have not seen, or at least if they've seen it, they dare not talk about it. Apparently, what I just saw on television, the guy said that white people have to die. White people. You see, we're getting close to that war between blacks and whites. Mexicans versus Americans, Muslims versus Christians. It's all coming. It's all coming if we don't stop it. And we have the power to stop it. Well, have gone beyond the commercial town. Guys, we're probably $1,000 away from what's got to be raised today. I hope you're out there. I hope you're hearing me. I need your help. Please, if you can. For some reason today, I'm not going to beg for it. I'm just going to say I need it. Pretty weak today. I don't know. Well, folks, got a caller. So if you can help, this is my buddy Steve from Dallas. How are you, Steve?
Hi, Larry. Thank you for asking. Doing very well here in Dallas, despite all this commotion that was triggered last night about 8:58. And wow, 9 o'clock hour. That peaceful, nice, easy street demonstration that went around in a rectangle. Larry, I'm really interested in your take on this. Because this was planned, of course. A planned rally by Black Lives Matter, but it was down at the college downtown there, and I'm familiar with that area. I'm wondering, the planning of this, how the shooters knew, the parade route or the march route, and how they knew that there was over 100 police officers down there, and had a lot of information, well placed, and that's one kind of question, or just want to ask for your take on that first.
Well, Steve, that whole event is suspect. The whole event. It is. It's hard to believe that somebody could that quickly know there was going to be this spontaneous rally, and apparently there were spontaneous rallies everywhere. And just to show up, to have the amount of ordnance that he must have had, it's suspect. But Steve, I don't know that we're ever going to know the truth. It's like everything else. You don't know the truth. They're not going to tell us the truth. They're not.
Yeah.
Lord, I don't know what that banging or whatever it is in the background, but it's pretty loud there, buddy. What is that?
I'll take you off speaker. It may have been the air conditioner in the background.
Oh, okay. Sorry. But anyway, so Steve, I don't know. I just don't believe what you see. I stand by that.
CNN came out, and they immediately were talking about, they had this witness on about saying that there was an active shooter. I mean, witnesses with that kind of verbiage, active shooter. It sounded really kind of corny, kind of stagey. And then, they had all these pictures of all these police cars, dozens of, 20, 24, 25 police cars all sprawled out over at Centro, the college downtown, giving us these images of this giant police force, and then talking about how, these, immediately start talking about gun control. And about how these police officers are unequipped, and how they need more powerful weapons, and how the whole thing stacked against us, against the police, and really pushing a police state type scenario. It's and then getting the FBI in here right away, which we just saw what the FBI did with Hillary, and just gives you the willies. The FBI taking over down here, and after that fiasco, what do you think about that? I mean, isn't that?
Yeah,
it's a different mindset now.
Yeah, it's just what they're trying to do, Steve. And then we've got another caller, so I've got to move on. But what they're trying to do, Steve, is break down law enforcement. Why? If they break down law enforcement, if they strip law enforcement down to where, they give up. They give up. You know what happens? Then we have to beg. We have to beg the federal government to bring in law enforcement for us. That's what this is all about. This is
Yeah.
all to knock the confidence of the American people down on law enforcement. So guess what? We got to bring in Obama's guys. We got to bring in the federal government. Everything that goes on today is designed, Steve, to take us and to take away, remember, take away our sovereignty. They don't want police in your town, all of you. They don't want police in your town that's local, that knows you, that you know. They want to bring in people that don't know you, people that will follow orders that local people would not follow. Just remember that. The whole movement
Sure will.
to stop our police is designed to get us in that moment of submission when I've told y'all, give me 20 guys. I can take the biggest city in America and take a part of it. Give me 20 trained guys. I can go in and put that part of the city in submission, and y'all be begging for the federal government to bring in troops just to stop the killing and stop the violence. You would beg for it. And that's what they're trying to get us ready for. All right,
That's
my
true.
friend
Hey,
Steve.
Larry. Thank you, and still praying, interceding background. We're going to believe God with you all the way through this. Thank you for doing what you do. Okay.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you so much.
Bye bye, friend. Bye bye.
All right, now, then we had somebody else on. Oh, they left. I'm sorry. Somebody was on and we heard the noise. So if you're out there, you can call back. You can call back. Now, Greg from Leading Edge Radio sent a text and said that this guy, whoever he was, had ties to the Black Panthers. He may have. Now, if he does, don't worry. I doubt that will get portrayed. Probably won't, at least not in a big way. And then if he has ties to ISIS or Boko Haram, don't worry. They won't tell us about that. They won't. They won't. And I'm going to tell you, it's a little odd. I just don't believe that this type of terrorism, this type of terroristic act, I don't see it. I don't see it coming from the mindset of a community of Americans. I just don't. Now I know a lot of the young blacks feel like police are out to get them. Maybe in some cases they are. I don't know. But we're fixing to have a mess on our hands. This is just another side of it. Okay, Bill, come on, buddy. You there?
Hey, Larry. I was wondering, did you get my 20 that I sent you?
No, I have not yet. Not yet.
When you get it in, can you tell the lady or the person that is matching the gifts? Okay, thanks.
Sure will.
What do you think? Do you think that this is going to knock out, totally knock out the scandal against Hillary?
Yes.
It was cooking real good.
Yes. Bill, that's a faint memory now. Now remember, to people like you, me, this audience, people that are concerned about our country, where it's going, no, it's still there with us. But you got to remember that 20%, remember the 20% that don't care?
Right.
They don't care now. They really don't care
and I guess
now.
If it ever came back up, they would just have another incident.
Yeah. I mean, this is all pretty simple. It just goes away.
Yeah.
Every
time they have an incident.
Yeah. It's here for a minute and then it's gone.
They know how to shut it down.
Yep. And, I'm not going to say that Hillary had it done. I'm not going to say that at all. That's crazy. I don't know that. And we don't need to be running around saying something like that because we can't prove it. But what you can say with absolution, you can absolutely say it, you can absolutely know it. This event has done its job. It has literally taken the whole story about, the email scandal and did away with it. It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah, because she was really starting to sink there for a little bit.
Well, the email scandal was, at least, even for the 20% that don't care, it was getting out there. It was getting out there a little bit. Certainly not enough to destroy her election, but it was getting out there. But now it's gone. Now it is gone.
And so now we have you, and I'm wondering why a lot of the listeners that are listening right now, 7,000 at least, they are listening, but they're not contributing. And I don't understand that because one of these days we're going to say, if you go before you can help us, we're going to say, well, God, why'd you let this happen? Why did you let this happen to us? Why? And then he's going to say, well, I sent you some help. I sent you Larry Nichols, but you wouldn't help me help. You wouldn't help Larry. You wouldn't help Larry. If you would have contributed, then you would have helped him stay alive, and he could have helped you, but you wouldn't do your part. And that's why. That's why I let this happen. But it didn't have to happen. It didn't have to happen. People out there listening right now, you're going to let our country sink if you do not engage and help Larry. $1. I mean, $1. $1 a day. Just give $1 a day. That's all I got to say, Larry.
Bill, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know what to say, Bill. I don't know what to say. I'm ashamed that I have to ask. I'm truly ashamed.
I'm trying to give you $40 a month. That's what I'm trying to do. And I don't know why anybody else can't do the same thing. 50 cents, I don't know, just whatever you can give. You say, well, you might be listening. You say, well, it just won't be worth it, so I won't even give. Give whatever you got to give and leave it up to God to bless that gift. But give something, do something. Anybody listening, please. I don't know what else to say. It's like I'm talking to a bunch of bricks. Okay, Larry, I'm getting off.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All
Thanks,
right.
Bill. Folks, he may be telling the truth. Every day I buy just a day we're in the game. I gotta tell you, I don't understand why 7,000 people couldn't send $1. It don't make no sense to me. Because I see a lot of people give a lot more than they should. But they just don't. They said, got this from listener Larry. They said they sent a robot in and there was an explosion, assuming that it took out the shooter. What do you know about robots? Folks, I cannot explain why a tactical unit in Dallas, Texas, when they have a shooter like I have just seen on television, a couple of videos, things I've seen that have just been up just now. Why they would use a robot to go in and blow the guy up, knowing, of course, that a robot going in the shooter would obviously shoot at it, I would smile. It would take time to get a robot into place, time to get a robot into position, time to get an explosive charge ready to go. It would seem that with the number of people falling, I mean, they actually had what's called an active shooter. He was actually shooting people. He was actually dropping people. He was actually killing people. And from all appearances, there was no hostage situation involved. In every tactical unit that I know of, and I've trained a lot, every tactical unit I know of have shooters, marksmen that could have taken that guy out, or certainly applied suppressive fire enough until someone could get in position to shoot him. I mean, I can go back and analyze this 1,000,000 times and it not make a lot of sense to me. I can't. But then you would just have to add this to all the other things today that don't make sense. They just don't make sense. But what don't make sense is starting to become normal and every day. And this is that world I'm telling you that's on the other side of this election that you don't want any part of. You don't. And folks, I'm going to ask you, I missed the second commercial. We got like 20 minutes to raise $1,000, and I don't know if you're going to do it. I sure wish you would. Yeah. Alden is talking to me about a lot of you, bless your hearts, you're trying to get in touch with me. Please, I know you are. With alternative cures. Guys, right now, it's real hard for me to have time to talk, okay? I mean, it really is. And the treatment that I'm getting, believe it or not, works when I can afford to get it. It's just not getting it. And I know there are all types of alternatives, but I just can't deal with that right now. Please, everybody, please. I love you, and I know you're trying to mean the best. I know. But this is a walk. You got to let me walk, please. You got to let me do it the way my family and I have chosen. And we're not doing chemo. We're not doing radiation. We're not doing any of that. We've got a good procedure. But just honor. Oh, God. All right, Alden, that's enough. You know, people are calling in now saying, why doesn't Medicare pay? Because it's a test procedure. They don't pay for stuff like that, folks. Good God. Look, if you don't want to help, just don't. Just don't. But don't use the 11th commandment to not be a part of this. Just don't. Just don't. If you don't want to help, just don't. Just know that I, like any other human being on planet by God Earth, will do everything I can to try to survive. That's what I'm doing. Now, you don't have to help. Don't worry. Nobody's going to judge you for not helping. That's your business. And I'm not coming up with all kinds of things for you to get to buy and stuff so that, I can trick you into giving. I'm not going to do that. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Hell, it ain't no thing. It's not. Just do what you want to do. It's your country. Now, by the way, I went today and I saw at the archery place, they got in a new one of the pistol crossbows. And no, I don't get a thing for it. Not a thing. I could plus them up and sell them, but I don't. But the new crossbow that she has in up there is much, much better. Safety mechanism, a lot better. And it's much easier to cock. So I would suggest she's got, I think she has 2 or 3 of the 16-pound draw bows in. She got one left-handed bow in for the recurve bow, long bow. If you want one of those, you better get it because they're hard to get hold of. And she's got the crossbow that I would recommend. It's one that it's very good. It's a different one than the one that I'd had. Please call her 501-472-1097. Get something to defend yourself. Good God, don't just sit out there. What? See, I don't understand. Don't just sit there and let the world come in on you. Fight, damn it. Fight. This is your country. You don't have to just give it up to Hillary. You don't have to just give in. You don't have to just quit. You don't have to just wait and say it was inevitable. It's not inevitable. It's in every one of us the power to stop this madness. Now, stop it. Before any more policemen have to die. Before any more people have to get massacred by this damn ISIS and these radical nutbags Muslims. Stop it. Stand up. Be something. Be somebody. Hello, Mary Ellen.
Hey, Larry.
Are you there? Hey.
I just wanted to help with your commercial. I just
Yes,
want
ma'am.
everybody to know, huh?
Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not the only one. There are some of us that skip meals in order to give to Larry. You do not appreciate some of the things that some of us have done to sacrifice to come up to help pay for his treatment. And it makes such a difference. You can certainly hear the difference in his voice the days that he's had full treatment versus the ones when he's just discouraged and wondering where we all are. If this many of us listen and consider ourselves part of the Army who will stand up to take our country back, he needs the encouragement of knowing we're in there for him. And if you can't do it through PayPal or Walmart, then put $1 in an envelope and add a stamp and send it. And if you need a stamp, for crying out loud, contact me. I'd be glad to donate one. All right, that's it.
Thank you, Mary Ellen. Thanks. Hey.
Bye.
Thank you, hon. She has done so much, as so many of you have. And I'm the one standing here telling you, ain't worth it. Ain't worth it. But right now, unless I see something different, there's nothing between Hillary and that golden seat of power that she so wants. It's not going to be a banner by Alex Jones for $30,000. I assure you that. It's not going to be Donald Trump being able to pull off this election. It's not. Don't you see? Don't you see what's happening today? I'm sorry, do y'all even hear Donald Trump's name? Now remember, he controls the media, right? He controls the media. He doesn't have to have money. He will be able to control the media, and he'll get all this free time, and he'll get to be. Do you even hear his name today? No. No. And I got a news flash for you. You want another one of those Nicholisms, something that's going to happen that I know about before it happens? Well, now this one is one that I know about, but I really don't know. So this one is just something that I believe. I have no proof of it. I have no epiphany. haven't been given some prophecy thing. But just imagine this. Imagine when Trump, if he does get the nomination to be the Republican nominee, imagine him getting it if he does, which he hasn't got yet because he hasn't had the 6-day meeting to determine what the rules are. But imagine if he does get the nomination. And here comes the big Republican convention when he makes his grand debut into the world as being the Republican nominee. Can you imagine that now? You there? Imagine it? Well, what would happen when that magical week takes place? And it's all supposed to be about Donald Trump. And something like this occurs again. Something like this happens during the week when he's supposed to get the big nomination. Think about it. You wouldn't even hear his name then. Now, I'm not saying for sure that something's going to happen. I don't know it. But I know the Clintons. I know how they think. I know what the system says. And they could drop something in like this, and there goes Trump's big week. He's nothing. He's nothing. And know this, that every time in this campaign that Hillary had something that's going to affect her with that 20% that Trump has got to have, that we've got to have to be able to save this country, the 20% that don't care. Every time something comes up, there's not much I can promise you in this life anymore, but I can promise you this. Every time something like this comes up with this email and the big scandal that she didn't get prosecuted, every time something like this comes up, you can bet within just a few days, something like Dallas will happen again. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, you are not yet capable of believing that. You're just not capable of understanding something like that. You're just not. You are just not capable of believing something like that to be possible, but it is. Welcome to the new world of the Clintons. Welcome. Now, maybe you understand why I've got to be so guarded and not just bring everything out about Hillary at one time, because sure as I did, if I could, if it happened that way, everything would be out there and everybody would be all fired up and you'd be all excited. And then there would be another Dallas happen or another Orlando. And it would just go away. It would just go away. It would just go away. All right, now, folks, I've got another caller. Before I take the caller, we got 10 minutes to get about, I think I got a $10 contribution, but we got about $10 to get about 800. So this is from Bruce. Bruce, thank you. All right, got a caller. Scott, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that they've been talking a lot about the stuff with the Gustafer about they hacked like the DNC's plans to dispatch a lot of these Black Lives Matters across the country and cause the havoc, and how they had planned on disrupting the RNC convention. And I remember when I called you several months earlier and I was asking about that stuff with Bernie Sanders, about who was behind that kind of thing. And I know with a lot of these, especially with the Democratic-run cities and stuff like that, where they tell the police to stand down, like, up here in this area, I'm kind of like 80 miles outside of Seattle. And, up here, whether it was the WTO or whether it's the Mayday protests and stuff, where a lot of times these cops will just, they're ordered to stand down and allow these protesters to get away with it. They did that after there was another Black Lives Matter thing up here on one of the Black Fridays, I think, when the Ferguson thing happened. So just kind of curious, what do you think about the police involvement, or we should say their complicity in allowing this stuff to happen?
Well, I don't believe, Scott, it's the police being complicit, but management of the police, the mayors, the chiefs of police. Yeah, believe it. Believe it. They will. Hey, I guarantee you that whole city of Cleveland can burn down during that Republican convention. And you can bet that if the Black Lives Matter crowd show up, they will be granted deference. They'll be treated with kids' gloves. Kids' gloves.
Well, I know that they fought and they won a lawsuit, because initially what they were trying to do, at least in that situation, is that they were supposed to just have one area where all of the people who were going to either be a protester or supporter of Trump or whatever, they were going to corral them all in one area, which that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
And it's stuff right there. So
you can bet if you're going to the Cleveland convention for the RNC, you probably ought to wear your field helmets, because you're liable to get eggs and rocks thrown at you. And don't worry, there won't anybody be arrested. They won't. Only ones who get arrested in Cleveland will be the ones that dare to try to fight back. Believe me.
Well, yeah, I think that was the original plan. Now, I don't know what it is now.
And don't doubt that an event like this in Dallas is going to hurt attendance in Cleveland. There are people in Cleveland that are planning to go to that convention. They're sitting there saying right now, man, I don't know if I want to go. It's not worth going and maybe getting shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. Put fear through people's heads. So.
Yeah. All right, my friend, we got to run. We're about out of time, buddy.
Okay, and just to let you know that I am going to put a little something in the mail today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right, bud. Appreciate you. And I do appreciate you, and I appreciate all of you. And I'm sorry I got a little bit hot about it. Anyway, I'm sorry. All right, guys, listen. It's Friday. Today, we're about 800 or better away. We got 6 minutes to get it. Out we get it. I got 1 hour after the program for it to come in. I doubt. If you can, please help. But I want y'all to think this weekend. Think about all of the young children. And I'm talking about the young children, not the ones that are of age to riot and cause trouble. All right. You got a caller right quick. Caller, are you there?
Yes.
Lauren?
Hi, Larry. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
I hope you have a good weekend and take some time to recover a little bit. I had a question about the RNC.
Yes, ma'am.
I predict, and I'm sure you do too, that there will be riots at the RNC. They may call martial law in. They'll blame all the riots on Trump in order to damage his chances of being elected.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I believe that the RNC Rules Committee will bring that into play as to why they can't allow Trump to be the nominee, because they've already gotten so many threats, I'm sure they'll say.
Yeah.
That it's impossible for him to run as the candidate because of, the riots and junk that will always be there.
And there might even
yeah.
be something bigger than what happened in Dallas.
Mm-hmm. Certainly may.
A lot bigger, a lot worse.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, folks, don't doubt it.
Yeah.
Don't doubt it, because that would be the big week if he does get the nomination. That'd be his week where typically the nominee gets a bump in the polls because the week's all about them. Well, guess what? You have a Dallas there, and you don't hear about Trump. Just like today, you don't hear his name.
Yeah.
Remember this, Lauren, this is war. This is war. We're fighting a war for our country. This isn't just an old typical everyday election, folks. This is war.
Demon possessed.
That's right. All right, honey, we got to run.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Take care.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, folks, maybe I don't say it strong enough. This is not just a regular everyday election. This is it. This is it. This is the last time. Do you hear me? The last time the sun shines on this earth. The last time it shines on this country with the light of freedom. It don't come no more. You hear me? It don't come no more. Where the hell are you? Where are you? Fight for something. Love something so much that you'll fight for it, please. And Alden wants to say something. Come on, Alden.
In the last minute, I really want to just emphasize something. Like, he said we have like close to $800 left just for this weekend. Well, like, think about it. If Hillary actually gets into office, what value is that money going to have? Is it going to be worth anything? So why wouldn't you want to invest in the future right now before the future happens and Hillary gets here? I mean, I honestly look at it literally. I'm all in. I have nothing left to give. I wish I did. I wish I could give more, but literally, I don't think anything is going to have value after this. So why would I want to just have it afterwards? It would make me think I didn't do enough anyways. So, if you're out on the sidelines, like, really gotta start thinking about these things, because if there is no value, you're just saving it for nothing.
All right, my buddy.
Yep.
All right, we got to go. That's Alden. Bless his heart. He's fighting. He's fighting with everything he's got, folks. I wish all of you would do that. I wish all of you would dig down deep and see something you love so much that you would give everything to protect it. But I guess you got to believe first that it ends if Hillary gets elected. And maybe you just don't believe that yet. With that, Alden, I'm done. So, folks, if it comes in, I'll see you Monday.
Over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I've heard of, one in a lullaby.